Well, hello again, everyone. How are you today? I hope you're doing very, very well. Again, my name is Jason Myles, for those of you that don't know me. And today I'm sitting in my office here in Atlanta, and I wanted to share a few things with you. Um, in business, there are a lot of different things that people do or don't do that can cause them to be very, very successful or fail miserably. Of course, there's a lot to be learned from failing. I always tell people that failure isn't truly failure. It's just you learning a way not to do something. So today I wanted to share with you some very key business principles. There's 13 of them. Now, it isn't just business. You can actually use this in your life as well. They're very important principles, and I try to practice them every day. I work towards them every single day in every thought that I possibly have. So I just wanted to share them with you. Now, I'm going to start from 13 and work my way down in the way that I think they're important. Now, the 13th principle or key principle is that success is never guaranteed. You never know when you're going to be successful or, the level of success that you may or may not achieve. You just never know. So it's important to know that success is never guaranteed. And when you're working towards your goals, you have to set up default mechanisms, if you will. So if A doesn't work, we'll take B. Sometimes you work towards A and B will show itself. So success is never guaranteed, and you have to know that before you get into it. The 12th principle is that success comes by doing many things right over a very long period of time. If you look at any extremely successful company, before you heard of them, they had already been in business for a relatively long period of time. There are a number of examples out there of companies that were doing their thing before. Google, for instance, those guys were working on these programs for years before anyone had ever heard of them. So you have to consistently do the right thing over a very long period of time so that you can achieve exactly what you want. By doing that, it kind of gives you the ability to see where you don't want to go and see where you can possibly go, and you can begin to broaden your horizons, if you will, in business. Now, the 11th key principle is to never ignore the signs. What does that mean? Don't ignore the signs. Sometimes it's a gut feeling. Sometimes it's every time you try to get something done, you keep hitting the wall, and a lot of people will continue to push and push and push and push. Well, that's not the right thing to do. Maybe you're going in the right direction, but you're using the wrong vehicle to take you there. Maybe you need to go over the wall or around the wall, or in some cases under the wall. But trying to break through the wall can be very, very difficult. So follow your feelings. If something's not working, find another way to do it. Or don't do it at all. Maybe you need to switch up what you're doing. Maybe you have a great idea, but you have to refine it a bit. So never ignore the signs. It's very important. Now, number 10, opportunity is a liability. It's not an asset. Now, this is just my feeling on it. Now, what does that mean that opportunity isn't an asset? Well, you'll hear people say that opportunity is once in a lifetime, or this opportunity comes once in a lifetime. That's not necessarily true. You have to be willing to consistently take chances and to make things happen. By taking those chances and putting yourself out there and pushing and working towards your goals, you're creating your opportunities. They're not just presented to you. You don't just sit back and wait and maybe. You can't do that. That's not the right way to think. So if you think that way, if that's how you believe about opportunity, then for you, opportunity is a liability. And that's a liability that you cannot afford to have in business. You have to take chances. You have to put yourself out there. You've got to get known, depending on what your business is. Well, any business for that matter. You have to get out there. Excuse me. Now, number 9, success begins by surrounding yourself with who? Quality people. You can't be the best in your team all the time. You have to have some smart people around you. There are a number of great business people out here that will tell you, I'm not the sharpest tool in my shed. Russell Simmons, for instance, he prides himself on being the energy behind his ventures, but he knows how to pick great talent and how to nurture that talent. A lot of the people that work for him, now independently, maybe they don't have the charisma that he has. Some of them do, some of them don't. But they are extremely good at what they do. And great CEOs, great business leaders, great leaders in general Know how to find and pick and identify and nurture that talent. So surround yourself with quality people. It's going to be a very, very key factor in your success. Now, number 7, don't ignore your problems. Now, this is something that a lot of people do. A lot of people do it consistently, for that matter. But why? Why would you want to ignore your problems? You know, you have your little problems and your big problems. The big problems you can't ignore. A lot of people try to run away from those large problems, but you can't do it. You cannot run away from your problems. You have to take them head on. The big problems you can't ignore, but the ones that always wind up getting you, the ones that always wind up creeping from behind you, are those little, small, seemingly insignificant problems that many of us choose to ignore. And then they sit there and they fester and they fester and they grow, and resentment at times comes with it when there's emotional ties or, just personal ties to it. So you have to deal with them. As uncomfortable as it may be at times, you absolutely have to deal with it. Don't ignore your problems. Be consistent. Stay with it. It's extremely important that you do so.